Guys of a Certain Age is brought to you by no one. Absolutely no one. Except these dudes walking down memory lane. Now let's head to the studio to see what they misremember next.
It's the podcast that's an eternal ray of sunshine in an overcast world. It's Guys of a Certain Age. Robbie Koblenz in studio alongside
Art Shirley.
And Jay Reed.
We probably need the Katrina and the Waves walking on sunshine music going through here.
Right. We're imagining that dubbed in right now.
Doop, doop, doop,
Okay.
doop, 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 doop. Okay. Anyway.
One hit wonder.
Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah,
Was it?
I think I had their album, but I don't think they had another hit.
Yeah. Yeah, we should probably do greatest one-hit wonder rock songs of all time.
Okay.
At some point.
Seems like we did.
I think we have.
Did we?
It's been a
At
minute.
this point, you know.
We're almost 400 episodes in. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we can revisit. We're different people now.
That's true. We are.
Kinda.
Different stages of life.
And, we've either grown up or grown down, depending as the case may be. So, our opinions may have changed. So
That's true.
But today, our opinions in our Geeks of the Week are locked in stone. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'll let you go first.
You
past
have
few
the last couple times.
yeah.
Boy, it's great. They just
I've
their,
let you like I'm in control.
I don't want my expectations to get,
their heads turned and they looked at each other and they had knowing glances. And we're back to Art.
Yep, that's right. Stan Lee's voice and likeness have been sold to 11 labs to be recreated using AI. Have you seen this yet?
I saw that yesterday.
Yeah,
I didn't read it, but yeah.
I just have the kind of the highlights of this. And so I'm wondering if this is something that he would have approved of, whatever. There's been a lot of controversy in
Stan Lee.
Stanley. And he thought I said Stanley.
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 Who's Stanley?
Stanley,
He's
come
a
on,
cup.
the guy from The Office.
He's a steamer.
That's right.
He's a steamer.
Next year, I'm steamer. Anyway, the voice will be added to the 11 Labs marketplace where companies can license it for commercial use. Users will be able to narrate any book using Stan Lee's voice.
Hello, true
Who
believers.
does that? His family?
Well, see, I don't know because there was a lot of controversy at the end that he was being manipulated by the people that were caregivers for him.
Yeah,
and
that was
elder abuse and all this kind of stuff, and that he was, had dementia, and they were doing things to make as much money off of him before he passed away. And now it looks like they're continuing to make money off of him.
Wow.
So anyway, but yeah. So aren't you still a member of 11 Labs?
Art's pointing at me.
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so
let
we
me.
could possibly all that is to say we could get Stan on here.
I'm logging in. I wonder how much it's going to cost, though.
On his new Mac Neo.
Oh, my new Mac Neo. Yeah, which apparently you can get at Walmart. You don't have to get it from Amazon. So,
Anyway,
yeah. All right, I'm going to look in.
Jay, while he's looking up, do you want to go ahead and do your geek?
Sure.
Do you
That's
have a
fine.
geek?
I have a geek. Yeah, mine's kind of a circle back because I had a previous geek about the Spider-Noir series coming
Oh,
out.
yeah.
It has dropped.
It has
as
dropped.
of
I saw that.
a night or two ago as we record. And I think the whole thing is dropped. I think you can binge it if you want to.
It is, yeah. It's which
Like
Netflix.
It's on Prime.
It's on
Amazon
Prime. Prime
yeah.
does that, yeah.
Yep.
I think drops the whole thing.
So we watched the first one last night, and I really liked
do
it.
you? Okay.
Yeah, I watched the black and white version.
That's what I want to do too.
Yeah, you go on there, like you can click on whatever episode, and it'll ask you which episode or which true hue color or authentic black and white, and I chose black and white.
You could change as you go along too, right?
There was some kind of control. I think you can.
Okay.
I think you can.
But I wanted to see it in black and white as well.
Yeah, and I may go back. Who knows? I may go back and watch it in color again. But first episode, very, very excited about it. It's kind of a mix of, so it's 1930s New York. It's gangster. But it's kind of like, Silvermane is the gangster, and I think he was a character in the comics, and I don't know if he has any powers or not. But they introduced two villains. One is Sandman, who we know.
Yeah.
And one
But they're all different versions, right? This is a completely different universe.
It's a different universe. And I was reading about this morning. There's supposedly like 8 villains. By the way, don't read the Screen Rant article about the villains because it totally spoils everything.
Okay.
So
I started to see that the other day. Yeah. I saw that the other day.
I'll still watch it, but Sandman's in there, who we know. And the other guy's name is Jimmy Addison. We don't know. He was created for this series.
Okay.
He's kind of a pyrokinetic. He he starts off with fire in his hands, like he's going to throw a fireball, but then he completely engulfed in fire.
Okay.
So he's kind of the main thread in the beginning, but he's brand new. And what I read about those who are coming, or they're kind of reimagined, same people, same villains, same names, similar powers, but kind of reimagined for this universe. So like Tombstone, I think is coming in another episode, and he's also going to be in Brand New Day, Spider-Man, or whatever the new one is. So it'll be
How many episodes is it going to be?
I think he said 8.
8 episodes. And what's the running time?
It was about an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the next one's 45 minutes because we always go to the next one even though we don't watch it. So
Yeah. Same here.
yeah, so I think it's going to be good. And Nicolas Cage is kind of like you would imagine him, same kind of,
Basically, he plays himself.
He does, yeah. But
I would like to see Nicolas Cage play Ryan Reynolds.
right.
And vice versa.
Wow.
Just,
But it's kind of
a new version of Face Off.
That's right. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, but there's no, at least so far, there's in episode 1, it's not the origin story. I think we're gonna get glimpses of the origin story throughout, from what I read in the spoiler article of Screen Rant.
Okay.
Screen Rant.
But in this one, he was the Spider for a long time, and then something traumatic happened, which I'll leave for you to watch. And he gave it all up.
Of Raid.
Yeah. Sorry. He gave all that up, and then now he's getting involved in something that's going to, bring all that back. So
I'll check that out. Yeah. Widow's Bay, by the way, I mentioned that before, continues to be very good.
I'm on episode 2.
Okay, don't you? I mean, it's like it's scary,
but it's not.
But it's funny.
It's so hilarious.
It's so funny that it takes the scares are genuine, but it's so tempered, and it just gets funnier. And I tell you what, who's the guy from The Americans? Jonathan
Matthew Rhys.
Matthew Rhys.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's playing so against type on this, but he is hilarious. He does a great job.
Yeah.
See the main character in I saw a longer trailer the other night and looked good.
It's well worth watching, I think.
And Stephen Root.
Oh, he's just great.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, is there a more versatile actor on the face of the planet than Stephen Root?
I mean, really, because you talk about Nicolas Cage and Ryan Reynolds or whatever, but you've got people like Stephen Root that become completely whatever their character is playing, and it can be this quirky, very much the Jaws Quint-like based character. But then you've also got him playing on news radio as the owner of the station.
Well, I'm thinking of Milton in Office Space.
Milton in Office, Milton
Stapler.
Yeah,
and then I'm a stapler. And then on the newsroom, he's General Tomamovich or Stotomovich or something like that. I just butchered his name, but just a super serious retired general from the Pentagon.
Yeah, he's really, really good.
I mean, his range, and he was great in West Wing as well. His range is incredible.
Yeah,
so
really, I had to look him up to see who he was, but yes, I agree. Now that I know who you're talking about,
you know who we're talking about.
I do now. Yeah.
Fine, pick it in a second.
Yeah, we should do an not an expose. We should do a celebration of Stephen Root's career.
Maybe I don't know if his geek cred is really good.
It's probably not. But I mean,
because what he's done has been outside of
outside of our sphere.
Yeah, that's right.
He's geek adjacent.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So I'll check out Spider.
Yeah, and the Silvermane's played by Brendan Gleeson, so he's got a lot of credits, including One-Eyed Moody.
One-Eyed Jack.
Or I'm not saying it right, but he was in Harry Potter.
Oh yeah. Mad Moody.
Mad-Eye Moody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's great. So
okay. Yeah, that's a good actor.
Well, staying in number one, I'm on my 11 Labs account, and if you want to license Stan Lee, you have to contact them directly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's
celebrity voices. You have Sir Michael Caine and you have Stan Lee. Those are the iconic voice. Oh no, here's some more. Yeah. Wow. They've got John Wayne available. And Sir Laurence Olivier, Ricardo Montalban, Judy Garland, Hasselhoff. They've got the Hoff in there. Thomas Edison. Who knows what Thomas Edison sounds like?
Yeah, I guess he
recorded. Pay to find out.
Yeah,
he recorded "Mary Had a Little Lamb" on the wax cylinder, so that must be all we've got.
That may be what they did. Jackie Mason, Art Garfunkel,
Jackie Mason. That's hilarious.
Robert Oppenheimer. You can license his voice. Betty Page, Mickey Rooney, and Rock Hudson, and there's some others in there who aren't quite as recognizable.
Yeah.
wonder how much it would.
That's crazy.
I wonder how much it would cost to get Stan to animate to do our opening.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be-
Excelsior.
yeah. True believers. These are the ones who don't. So, yeah, just kind of crazy. When are you going to license your voice, Jay?
Today, if I can make some money on it.
How do we get that?
If I can retire
Let's
today
cancel
with that.
the rest of the podcast. We're putting Jay on 11 Labs.
Jay, I don't think it's going to work that way for you. I'm sorry.
Well, you asked, I answered.
Yeah.
We did that really kind of already. When we recorded some sample statements from Jay.
Without my consent. I would protest.
Oh, that's okay. Protest.
I'm being oppressed. I'm being oppressed.
Yeah. Repressed. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, we have enough content on this podcast to model
easily.
all our
gosh.
voices.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah, be pretty funny.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm going to stay in the Spider-Man universe for my Geek of the Week. So, there is a new Spider-Man movie called Brand New Day, but Tom Holland thought, hey, I've got a pitch. Why don't what happens if Peter Parker is losing control and things are changing in this movie? We could call it Spider Puberty.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, I'm glad that one passed.
Some of the stills they used to illustrate it were probably not the best.
Yeah, probably not the best, but
They liked the idea. They did not like the puberty aspect of it.
Yeah.
Kind of him losing control of his powers.
So he actually pitched that as a name. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Spider-Man Brand New Day drops July 31. I'm really looking forward to that. So
Yeah, we're about to hit some stuff. Like I said,
unlike one movie which released last weekend that
didn't like. You can go ahead.
Yeah. Grogu is no goo. So sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Jay and I have not seen it and are going to go see it. Then I guess we'll do a review of it.
We went to see it at an AMC theater down in Mobile and came really close. Bonnie wanted to buy it for me, but I begged off. The Grogu and his speeder thing, his little
Yeah. The
$54.
Wow, for the popcorn? Is it a popcorn holder?
It's a popcorn.
Okay.
Yeah. $54.
Good grief.
They had an ad. It was sold out.
Okay.
They didn't have the Mandalorian helmet. So Jay, look at Jay. Jay's like, oh, I may have
So
to
Jay's
go.
driving down to Mobile.
Yeah. Where's the closest AMC? I guess it would be Tuscaloosa or Birmingham for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I've learned is if you go on the AMC site, 3 months later, they
have a bunch of them.
They have them and they're on sale. So
Yeah, that's a great idea.
How many do you have, Jay?
I have none.
Really?
It's a fascinating subject, but I have not purchased any.
Well,
I don't eat that much popcorn.
That's
what it's all about.
Yeah. See, Bonnie will go back and get with AMC. You can go get a refill, and you obviously have the ability to put butter on at any time at any layer that you have.
Yeah, I've seen Bonnie butter her popcorn.
Boy,
before.
I tell you what, it's
an art.
It's almost a religious experience. I don't know whether she likes the popcorn or the butter.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have to really bring wet wipes.
Yeah.
To take care of that. So, but anyway, all right, we're going to come back with the second half of our interview with Kevin Ivey up next. All right, we've got the second half of Kevin Ivey coming now.
So fast forward about 6 months, they want to build a new financial network in New York, and I'm still working with Joe and the guys at Avid, and they are coming up with the Avid media server, which, get this, has 8 ports on it. So it'll support like 2 ingestion ports, 2 playback ports, and 4 editing ports on it. And so Lou Dobbs wants to build this financial network. So I said, we could build it around the media server. And he said, what? And I explained it to him, went to New York, explained it to all the news folks. He said, we got one problem. He said, the union up here is not going to allow that to happen. I said, what? He said, well, like producers editing at their desktop. And I said, let's look at the contract. Sure enough, the contract excluded any type of computer editing. So he said, okay, we're done. And they went to the board. Ted approved it, said, okay. And December of that year, CNN-FN went on the air with 4 Avid news cutters on desktops in a newsroom in New York. So, and then here's the best part. They assigned me a trigger man. somebody that just to shoot me in the head if it all started going wrong. And it was this great old grizzle engineer who used to be the chief engineer for CNN in New York and DC. Another small world story. The chief engineer there, their assistant was a girl that I went to high school with at Meridian. So, I mean, it's just, this stuff happens all the time. Oh. So Al Friedman was his name, and it was kind of like that old cartoon where the coyote and the sheepdog go to work and they're friends until they clock in, and then they just beat the crap out of one another. Uh-huh. That's pretty much what it was like. And anyway, long story short, we survived it. We became great friends, and the thing went on the air, and then we followed over the next 2 years with CNN Sports Illustrated and CNN in Espanol, and they were both on server systems with nonlinear editing. So
when did the local union come in and say, "Oh, wait, we need to renegotiate our contract"?
It took a long time, actually. Really? Because this was when it was in its infancy, and there were still people there, Robbie, that were very, very convinced that this was never going to work. Yeah. It was never going to catch on. There's no way it'll be successful. But 3 years later, we actually started doing the same thing for the main media production at CNN in Atlanta. Because as you know, we had CNN Headline News, CNN International, CNN News Source. We had all these disparate services, and they were all cutting tape at the time.
Yeah.
And sharing and losing tapes between each other. So basically what we were able to do is build a media center. And I know we're here to talk about Ted, but you got to remember, these are the kinds of things that Ted would bless, that nobody else would, but he got it. So when we put all that together, we yielded enough headcount through attrition to build CNN.com.
Wow.
So you already had, some seasoned journalists who knew how to produce media that just took their places at CNN.com. And we put all the media production for all the television networks under one roof.
Wow.
So that was the extent of it.
In your dealings in New York, did you ever come across a guy by the name of Bob Zellin? Bob
Zellin.
Bob set up 1 billion media composers in New York in the mid-late 90s, early 2000s. He's a buddy of mine in Florida now, but he's the first guy who actually turned a Mac with putting a 10 gig Ethernet card in and turned it into a server. Yeah. And so he was kind of at one point he was a legendary media composer, engineer in New York City. So I know exactly. I don't know him, but I know that we would end up knowing a lot of the same people. Yeah.
At the time, there was a guy named John Walsh. He was head of engineering. They were in Tewksbury, Massachusetts. And that's kind of where things diverged. So Media Composer went to server base with their shared file architecture. And then Newscutter went the other way with high transaction rate and low resolution proxies and all that sort of stuff on the news side. So that's
wow.
But I remember when all that exploded.
You know why Avid's a 4-letter word, don't you?
Why is that?
Because all the other 4-letter words are taken.
We're already taken. Yeah.
That works with Sony and Ford, by the way, so you can use it across the board. So,
and Bose too, maybe for that matter. Sometimes.
No highs, no lows. It must be Bose. So, where did career-wise? You ended up at a VP level with Turner, correct?
Yep, I was very, very fortunate. I became a vice president after the successful launch of CNN-FN. So once we had proven that that technology, the sights were set to then advance that and do all the work we did thereafter. So I was promoted to vice president of technologies, of special projects and technology. So I was fortunate that they trusted, me enough and a couple of others. And the great thing at the time is that it involved technical heads from Headline News, from CNN, the head of all of the CNN newsroom computer systems, which is a considerable amount of work there. But we put together an R&D team. So they realized that no one was going to be building, commercial systems that would do everything CNN needed to do, because at that time we were processing somewhere between 250 and 400 hours of video a day.
Wow.
From all the incoming sources. So we were having to perform what we call triage, up front. We've got to get to the meat of the matter pretty quick and identify sound bites and, turn this stuff quickly, but also assign all the metadata to it so it could go on into the deep archive and be searchable, for the long term.
Yeah.
So we were basically coming up with a schema and building the databases and all that. And they were fortunate. Again, this is one of those vision things, that Ted loved, was we see a path to getting there. They financed it. We had a decent technology budget for a few years, and we were able to move all that forward.
Incredible. Just incredible. Yeah. Now, Kevin, I don't know if this is true or not, but I have blamed you over the years for the deluge of information that started on CNN headline news with the tickers. Because at some point, either you or I can't remember who had told me, but you were involved in the technology behind building a continuous graphic ticker that's going to pull metadata from somewhere to keep it updated. Yeah. And so I blame you. I just want you to know.
Well, you can blame me. I would be proud to take the blame for that, but the blame rests squarely on the shoulders of another near Mississippian, believe it or not. Let's see, the gentleman that does Mississippi roads on Mississippi TV.
Walt Grayson?
Walt Grayson.
Yeah.
Walt Grayson's cousin worked with me. How's this for a small world? A gentleman named Keith Chandler, brilliant man, has since retired, but went on to work with IBM on Big Blue. Keith developed a lot of the data systems for the Weather Channel, through IBM.
Yeah.
And that was Keith's baby. And we did a wholesale change of format and production at Headline News, and a big part of that was the new super ticker, I think, as it was called at the time.
Wow.
But yeah, but that was Keith Chandler's, and he and I still talk. Really, really good guy, really smart guy.
Yeah,
much smarter than most of us. So.
Well, when that launched, no one had seen anything like it, and it was mesmerizing. And you just sit there and you pop it on, and that was the beginning of information overload almost. So
it really was. So. And the other folks doing it at the time. There were a couple of business news networks. Bloomberg, they started off with just a plethora of data.
Yeah,
that you had to know what you were doing to understand. But that was early on.
Well,
early on.
So back to Ted Turner. I mean,
yes.
I firmly believe Ted Turner is in the class of a Rockefeller or a Vanderbilt as being a titan of industry and just incredibly influential. But where does Ted fall for you?
There are a couple of experiences that I had with Ted. I mean, he definitely is. You could count him among the captains of industry, but I also see him like an Edison, because he understood immediately the impact of technology and what it would mean. You look like the Westinghouses that developed the air brakes and things like that. Ted's fortune was born out of red ink. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and his father had unfortunately taken his own life when his outdoor advertising business was failing. But Ted took that over, and two radio stations that they had, and he built the Turner Broadcasting empire on that.
But it's based in Cincinnati, if I recall correctly.
That is right, and between there and the Carolinas, I believe in Charleston, in that area. But you're right, and I've heard Ted speak about it many, many times. And what kind of determination do you have to have, and grit do you have to say, I'm going to prove to the world that my dad was right? Yeah. And it was technology, as you noted earlier, that launched WTCG, into the universe, no pun intended. They created a whole new way to consume television. I like to say that early on, WTCG was probably as near to narrowcasting as we would get before the internet came along.
Sure.
Because if you liked old cartoons, they were there. If you liked baseball, it was there. If you liked old movies, it was there, because that's what he had to program with. And then I'd mentioned Steve Korn earlier. Folks like him went together and put the deals like, buying the Warner Brothers properties, having all those old movies and having just tons of content that went on all the time. And then he bought the Braves, that way he had that to work with. He launched the Goodwill games. I mean, Ted really began to develop, a heart for the world once he shrank it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how tiny the world has become since then. There was, real-time news was almost unheard of. You'll remember this, and again, this is a geek thing, but the first time we ever really saw any satellite-based programming live was during the 1972 Olympics. If I remember correctly, that was the first time that anything was televised via satellite in real time. And I mean, less than a decade later, here we were with television services. And it was no irony that, the Turner stations occupied those low channel numbers in Meridian, because Meridian was one of the test markets. It was the small test market for the Turner networks.
I did not realize that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I mean, CNN stayed on Channel 8 in Meridian for decades.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a long time before it moved. I say that to say Ted understood, that the medium was not necessarily the message, but the medium, became technology. It became however you can get it to those folks with eyes and ears to see and to hear. And he never forgot that. The other thing is, when Ted did begin to develop, a heart that wanted all the bad things in the world to end, pollution, war, anything, hunger, anything that he thought, they could have a hand in ending, he wanted to do. I'll tell you a funny story. Ted decided at one time that he wanted to start interviewing world leaders, just to get their take on things. Well, the first one he chose was Fidel Castro. So that can have its own problems, but we went to Havana. And I was fortunate to be there. I was making sure that everything was recorded correctly and doing sound and stuff, because we were going to take all that raw camera stuff back and do post-production on it. But it was an incredible trip. And it was amazing to see, what things really are like in Cuba. And we couldn't help but feel a lot of it was, orchestrated. But Ted went there. We did the interview. And the funniest thing happened was Ted and Fidel had dinner one night together, and the cameras were invited for a short time. Well, they had been enjoying a lot of rum. And Fidel Castro tells Ted a hunting story. And it's hilarious. The young Fidel Castro, the young revolutionary, was invited by Nikita Khrushchev to come to Moscow and come to Russia. And he took him hunting while they were there. So hunting at that time was standing on the edge of a clearing on a platform with Kalashnikovs, with automatic weapons, while the Red Army flushed whatever deer or moose or whatever were in the woods into the opening.
Wow.
So apparently there'd been a lot of vodka that afternoon. And Fidel Castro told Ted, he said, in Spanish, of course, but he said, "I saw it coming out of the tree line, and I turned and I fired right over the head of the premier." He said, "Can you imagine what would have happened if I had accidentally killed Nikita Khrushchev?" But I mean, it's just,
So
it's just,
you were in the room with Fidel Castro.
Yes. Yes. Me and some other technicians. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter who else. Wow. What an amazing
he said one word to me. Well, I'll say he said one sentence to me directly. And it was because I was carrying a BVU, and you know what that's like.
Uh-huh.
And I had a fishing pole and a shotgun mic, and he looked at me and he asked me in Spanish, "Is that thing heavy?"
Wow.
And I said, "Sí, señor." Yeah. So, but he went to school at University of Chicago and played baseball at University of Chicago.
Yeah.
So anyway, but that was just one of those things I was fortunate enough to be a part of. And there were lots of those. I tell you, I say that there are men and women who have gone into the field for CNN for decades that are just unparalleled in terms of their skill and their courage.
Yeah.
And this is also the kind of thing that Ted was very soft-hearted about anybody, going out into harm's way. He made sure, that everybody had the best equipment. All of the field crews got life-saving training and, serious first aid training.
Yeah.
And the best I've heard it put is one of the female photographers I had worked with. And I think it was Cindy Strand. I'm trying to remember exactly who said it. But she said, we got to go and see and do things that no amount of money can buy.
Yeah.
And when you are there and you're seeing history being made and you're writing the first draft of it, it really is amazing. And only a 24-hour news channel, really dictated that kind of coverage.
For years, Kevin, I wanted to be a field producer for CNN because I thought that was just would be the coolest thing. And obviously,
you would have been a great one.
Well, yeah, it would have been a lot of fun. But I remember for me the crystallizing moment for CNN was Gulf War I, and I think for a lot of folks, and I remember I think it was the '92 election when Bernard Shaw, isn't that his name? Who was primary anchor for CNN, was invited with, I guess Brokaw and Jennings and whoever was at CBS at the time to interview the presidential candidates. And that was, I remember somebody saying, a media pundit saying or a historian rather, saying that 91, 92 is when CNN arrived. And, you go back to Peter Arnett, John Holloman, Bernard Shaw, I think, was reporting for Gulf War I as well.
Yeah.
And
certainly was,
And we got everything real time through those lenses in that reporting. And I was 21 at the time when Gulf War I broke out. And every television was tuned to CNN, and it was just incredible. So
well, and I appreciate that. It was funny because we literally worked 72 hours straight, right after the war started. And I was managing all the videotape production in Atlanta and the field crews. I mean, it was amazing. It was, sometimes there are just those serendipity things, that come about. You were talking about one inch earlier. Editors took 1 inch duty, to go and roll air checks and stuff like that. And the woman that was running air checks that night, I ran back to B control and she already had two strung up. And I said, "When did you get those up?" She says, "Oh, I actually rolled them before it broke." I said, "You are kidding. Nice job." So,
wow. Well,
but I was going to tell you real quick about the Gulf War. There is a gentleman who's been a photographer for CNN for a long time. His name is Mark Biello. He's originally from Chicago. He was on the balcony that night shooting all of that tracer, fire, all the anti-aircraft fire, that first night scope stuff that everybody saw. Mark shot that. When Katrina hit, he called me and he said, "Look, man, I'm down here in Biloxi. I'm just checking on you guys okay?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "This is the worst thing I have ever seen."
Wow.
And he said, "I did something today I've never done." I said, "What's that, Mark?" He said, "I put my camera down and I helped."
Wow.
So that's the kind of folks, you've got out in the field, and this is a guy that followed like all the refugees through Africa, had been in the war in Chechnya, had been all over the place. But yeah, it's amazing the men and women that went out and still go out and do that.
And all thanks to the vision of Ted Turner. And
absolutely,
just
absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah.
All right, we have talked for 40 minutes. We could go for 40 minutes more. My co-hosts are going to kill me because they weren't in on this interview. So we're going to have you back a second time. And, next time, are you still in Meridian? Are you guys still living in Meridian?
I am.
Okay.
Yes, we are. Yep.
Yeah, next time I'm down, we'll have to grab a meal or something. But hey,
yeah, man, let me know. Or when I come up there, I'll see you. When I come to Starkville, I'll see you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for taking the time to do this.
Man, it is my pleasure. It was great to catch up with you, and thanks for having me on. And yeah, I would love to do it again. We can get deep into the geekdom if you want to.
There you go. Thanks, man. All right, so you've heard the whole thing. I mean, it was almost an hour conversation with Kevin, and thank you, Kevin, for taking the time to do this. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
What were your takeaways? Do you remember any takeaways?
Well, one thing I remember is when he talked about the radio stations that Ted Turner started out with, the ones that kind of he ended up selling to pay for the UHF station in Atlanta. Yeah. Susan was telling me that my late brother-in-law, Phil Valentine, friend of the show, started out or in his early experiences worked for one of those Turner stations.
Really?
It must have been the one in Charlotte because there wasn't one in North Carolina. There was one in Chattanooga, but I don't remember him being there. But I think or Charleston, I guess is what they said, right? I can't remember which one it was.
I can't remember. Either.
Anyway, it'd be Charleston in South Carolina.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what she said. He worked for one of those. So I thought that was pretty neat. Also, just amazing that he was on the bleeding edge of so much of technology that we kind of take for granted now.
Yeah.
And the way that, his what he was getting called on the carpet for when we talked about last week turned out to be the way everybody does media broadcast now.
Well, one of the things I found pretty fascinating when I went back and cut that up for you guys so you can listen to it was how the whole union deals. They launched CNN FN in New York, and the union contracts prohibited a producer from editing. Mm-hmm. At that point, editing was defined as going into an edit bay and editing tape. So a producer could not do that. You had to go through a union editor, and that's the way the contracts are set up for a variety of reasons. And when the Avid dropped in, they were able to have six. They had 6 units. I think there were 6 ports.
Yeah.
Or maybe 8 ports in 6 units. Anyway, they had Avid
2
media.
2 out.
Yeah, news cutter. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They had news cutters on producers' desks so the producers could sit there and edit and not be in violation of union contract.
Yeah, I didn't quite follow that, but I mean, I knew. So the producer.
The union contract was very much based on the old way of editing tape.
Okay.
So a physical tape came in, it's ingested, or it's not even ingested into a machine. It's
you're
brought in, and you
had 2 or 3 players. You had one recorder, and you had a controller, and you had a switcher. And
so you're doing stuff. You're finding the spot on the time code. You're hitting record. You're playing the thing, right?
And it was truly an art, and you had to be trained to do it. Yeah. And for a real,
and there's no going back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for a real involved edit, I mean, there was some manual dexterity involved. You're launching this tape, you're launching this sound effect from a cart, you're mixing audio, you're mixing video. So it was a true art, and you had to have a trained person to do it.
It's like your mixtapes on steroids.
Yeah.
Right. So the way they got around it was this was a different
because
procedure.
they had put that in the contract. It was something that didn't exist before, so it was not covered in the contract.
Yeah, that's right. So it was not covered, and the contract was locked in specifically on doing tape-based editing. Yeah,
gotcha.
As I understand,
that makes more sense.
I don't know if you guys remember Broadcast News.
Yes.
So do
the movie Broadcast News?
Yeah. And so Holly Hunter, who's the producer, is in the edit bay. They're trying to get a tape done. The editor's sitting there manipulating everything. Holly Hunter is just wants to reach over and start punching buttons, but it was prohibited from. Then they got the tape. They had to run it from the edit bay to the control room to play it while the network news broadcast was going on. So, I mean, that was truly a thing.
Yeah.
And so when they put the news cutters in from Avid and they were able to put these computers on desktop, they were not regarded as true editorial tools.
Right.
And boy, did that change everything. So
And like I said, I was somewhat surprised that he said it took so long for them to kind of, bounce back from that. That the union, it took them a while to go, okay, we need to add this into our contract.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I've noticed, just looking at media trends through the years, when you have an accepted, proven way of doing things, it's in anything, there's huge resistance to change. And, forever, and Hollywood movies would be edited at the lowest resolution possible on an Avid or a Lightworks machine, and then they would make their edit decision list and give it back to a film negative cutter who would actually truly go in, find the make the splices, and create the film master.
Yeah, it was just kind of a proxy way to set the rough edit up, and then they would use it to follow it. Yeah.
And so the whole infrastructure was based upon that. And so you knew what that costing was because it all comes down to money. You knew how to cost that out as you budget for a movie. And remember, every movie is basically its own small business enterprise. It's set up usually as an LLC, used to be an Inc., incorporation, or a corporation. It was incorporated to be a corporation. And basically you worked for a small business for the lifetime of that movie. So, but anyway, yeah, fascinating things.
And he was a great interview. I mean, not only his information, but just a really, really good, enjoyable person to listen to.
Yeah. Kevin's done this once or twice, you know. So.
And he's in Meridian, so we definitely need to have him up here or go down there.
Yeah, we talked about him coming up here off mic.
Yeah.
But I found it, one of the things I didn't really address with him, I found it interesting. He started in front of camera, right? I mean, he started as a reporter, or he was trained in that regard, came through the comm department at State, and then ended up in technology because, the way I interpreted it, because of his willingness at that point to embrace new technology and to jump in and just explore it all. And, you got to think, I mean, I'm biased because I like Kevin a lot. I mean, he's integral to the growth of CNN.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway.
And that mindset is just, it's not this, this isn't my job. It's like, okay, what can I learn to enhance what I do?
Yeah.
It's going to put you in positions to do, big things.
And now we're just all racing towards retirement. We want to be Art, don't we, Jay?
That's right.
Across the finish line.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously this is kind of low hanging fruit, but the Fidel Castro story was fascinating. And you got to think that was his story for today. But how many more of those stories?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That's a good point.
Did he get while working, alongside Ted?
I tell you what, I thought my 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon multiplier was absolutely.
And ours through you. I mean,
Kevin
we're 1
Ivey.
degree off. That's right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Kevin Ivey through Ted Turner. Oh, my goodness.
And was it not difficult at that time still maybe to get to Havana? I mean, that couldn't have been an easy passport visa kind of thing in that day.
Well,
it was tricky.
I think if Fidel wanted you there, you were going to get there. There wouldn't be the barriers there. I'm sure they were under protection.
Well, I mean, it's more U.S. allowing you to go.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking about.
But you could go to a second country as an intermediary. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Pretty fascinating. But he had a conversation with Fidel Castro.
Yeah. Who almost shot Nikita Khrushchev.
Yeah.
That was great. Was that a secondary story was even better than the first.
Boy, can you? Yeah, man. So did we break news?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Are we CNN now?
Yeah. No, we're not. We're RJ Robbie. So, but anyway, and we don't have James Earl Jones or Stan Lee to do our intros.
That's right.
So, but anyway,
that can be remedied for a small fee, I'm sure.
Oh, I don't think the fee's very small.
Yeah.
I think the fee's going to be quite large. So, all right. Anything else for the good of the cause, gentlemen?
That was a good interview. Glad you got that.
Yeah. That was fun. All right. That'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time around.